Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is really exciting for me to film because I'm actually starting a new series on my channel. I put up a Instagram story recently asking you guys if you'd be interested in like beauty 101, like beauty basics, beauty essentials that you need to know in order to do your makeup. I had a friend ask me if I would do a video on like brushes and brush essentials, so I thought why not make a series about it. This video is going to be all about eyebrows. I'm going to show you everything that I would do to maintain my eyebrows, shape my eyebrows, and all the different products I would use to fill them in. So this is going to be the first video of a whole series. I'm going to be touching on things like winged eyeliner, brushes like I said, and like 10-minute easy makeup. So if you have any suggestions for videos, please, like I always say, put it in the comments and I will hopefully get around to it. But anyway, I really hope you enjoy this video. Thank you so much for watching and I'll see you in my next one. Bye! Hello. So as you guys would have heard from the intro, this video is going to be all about eyebrows. So I'm going to be covering quite a lot of ground in this video. I actually am going to be showing you guys how I wax my brows, tint my brows, shape my brows, and everything that I would use and recommend to fill in the eyebrows. So it's kind of like a beauty basics to makeup application for brows. I will say that I am a qualified beauty therapist or beautician, if you want to say that. So this is my job. I wax and tint brows for my job. So take it from me, this is what I would recommend, I would suggest. Anyway, let's just get straight into it. Okay, so eyebrows, they frame the face, they are very important for the face, they frame the eyes. For me, the first thing that happens with eyebrows is your maintenance. You need to have freshly waxed or plucked eyebrows in order to have a nice clean base to work with. My eyebrows are relatively fresh. I just pluck a couple hairs every now and then, or I actually have been really liking using brow razors. I put a little short video on my Instagram story recently of me dermaplaning my face. So that's like the action of essentially shaving away the like peach fuzz or the little fine little fine hairs on the face in order to get a much smoother canvas. There is a bit of debate with dermaplaning or shaving your face because hair can grow back thicker and darker. I don't do it often enough to experience that. I haven't actually experienced that before. But if I need to wax my lip and I haven't got access to waxing or I don't have time, then I'll just quickly like go and shave my lip. And it's not been a problem for me in the past, but I probably would recommend looking into it a little bit more, or maybe just like trialing it out on an area that you're not so concerned about, maybe like back here further, or even like on your arm or something. But hair grows differently for everyone. I can't say that what will work for me will work for you, but give it a go. This is just how I would do things. And it's definitely been trial and error for me. Oh my gosh, don't even get me started on that. So I'm getting my tweezers. I am cleaning them off with an alcohol swab. These are really easy to buy anywhere. You just go and buy alcohol swab. They're really easy. These ones are just a regular pair of tweezers. I actually really like my Anastasia Beverly Hills tweezers, but I don't have them here at the moment, so sorry. Then I like to just go ahead and pluck any stray hairs that I see. This is usually underneath the eyebrow here, where they start to get a little bit more blonde. And I'll just go ahead and grab those. Okay, so at this point, what I would do is I would be trimming my eyebrow hairs as well. Now, I don't have to do this as often. They don't grow very long, but it's part of a brow service. So you brush the hairs up. By the way, this is the Pony Cosmetics brow brush. So it's just got a spoolie on one end and a brow brush on the other, an angled one. So I'm getting some scissors. These are just manicure scissors from the brand their models prefer. So I got them from Priceline. But they're just like really sharp. And what you want to do is brush up the brows. When I brush up the brows here, there's like little hairs that come past basically the perimeter of the eyebrow. And you want to just trim those. Try not to get into the actual like bulk of your brow because that means it will look really choppy. And I'm just trimming them. I'm not even trimming them like completely down to the bulk of the brow. I'm just like a haircut, you know. You want to get those ends that are looking a little bit ratty and kind of just blunt them down a little bit. Okay, so brow maintenance is done. Next thing that I would move on to is tinting my brows. I have a couple of tints to recommend to you guys. I recently tried out the Maybelline Tattoo Brow Gel Tint, which is like a brush-on tint. It's like goopy and thick and gel-like, and you just like paint it on the eyebrow around the perimeter. It's really hard to get accurate though, and then you just leave it on and let it dry, and then you peel it off. Works really, really well. It stains the skin well, but I found that I washed my face one time and it was like all gone, and I was like, ah. So it didn't last very long, but it definitely works if you want that tint look. Maybe my cleanser was too strong for it, I'm not sure. But the other way to tint your brows is actually by using like a salon tint. Now I use Reflector-Seal. This is in natural brown. It's my favorite color. I have really dark brows for my hair. This is like my natural color here. So my brows are a little darker than most people's brows would be compared to their hair. What I would say is try and match your brow color to the root of your hair and some like a little bit darker. So maybe like 2 shades darker than your hair color. Anyway, so this Reflector-Seal tint comes with the tint bottle, but it also comes with an applicator here, which is like a little plastic applicator. That's what I'm going to be using today. And then I just get a little tint bowl. This is one that I picked up from my beauty suppliers. And I also have the Reflector-Seal oxidant. So this is your activator. This is what you're going to be mixing with your tint to get it activated so that it will tint your eyebrows. This is the liquid one. I mean, there's liquid, there's cream. You can buy pretty much anything. And they say about 1 centimeter of tint. I usually do about that much in the bottom there. And then add, it's 1 to 1. So you want to add around the same amount of activator. So at this point, it's looking around this consistency. It's like moussey. And I'm going to start by carving out the bottom line of my eyebrow. What I think makes the brow look the most unrealistic when you are tinting is this front area here. If it's really boxy, it's going to look fake. It's going to look drawn in. So you want to gradient that out, but do that after, like when all the rest of your tint is placed on. Now I'm going to get that cotton tip and I'm going to go run along the bottom of the eyebrow. Right. And then you're going to do the same with the top. And because you've combed it up, you're going to like chop that top bit off like that. And I know it looks crazy, but you can kind of go ahead and like fine tune, taper that end, and then I get to the front here, and sometimes I just like to kind of get a dry cotton tip, not a wet one, and just like dab that excess product off at the front. Sometimes I go in and like redo it heaps of times just so I'm happy with the way it's looking. So essentially, I leave mine on for like closer to 10 minutes. You'll see the tint starting to oxidize. It basically just starts going more matte and like looks like it's being dried out by the air, basically. This side here, you can see like there's more creamy bits here because it's just been applied. So I just leave that on for, yeah, about 10 minutes, sometimes less, but just depending on what kind of result you're looking for, basically. Okay, this one's time to wipe off now. So I'm just going to get some brow cleanser on a cotton pad and just try and do it in like one swift swoop. Okay, so I've just taken the tint off on this side, and you can see here, I'm going to just turn the light up a little bit. You can see here that the underlying line is like just a lot more precise because you've really carved it out with that tint. So yeah, that's how I tint my eyebrows. I'll take off the other side in a second. So freshly tinted brows, I'm really happy with those. Now I'm going to get on to filling in the brows. Yes, my favorite part. Okay, so the exciting part is definitely filling in the brows with makeup. Now, I have a few different like mediums here to work with, just to show you guys different examples of effects that you can create with different products. Now, first things first, I have a pretty like prominent brow shape, but if you don't really know what your brow shape is, it would be helpful to know. So there are ways to, I guess, work around if you don't have a prominent shape. Things like brow stencils are really handy if you don't really know. You know, you can buy a brow stencil and like fill in your brow that way. But I'm going to show you how to map out your brows with your face shape. I'm just going to get a brow pencil here and just demonstrate how you map out your brows according to your face. And what you want to do is line up the pencil next to your nose. You want to rest it against the side of your nose. You don't want to lean in too far this or that way. Just make sure it's straight. And you want to draw a line basically here, where that line is. And that is where the start of your brow should be. And you can see there that my brow tint has just reached that line because that's where I extend my brow out to when I fill in my eyebrows. And then I'm going to do the same on this side. So generally for the face, there are 3 points of the brow that you need to follow in order to get your brow shape. And this just works as a general rule for everybody. So you've got the 1 point here, and then the next point, go to the edge of your nose here, and you're going to follow the line up directly through your pupil. And then that point here is technically where your brow arch should be. And then the 3rd point is the tail end of your eyebrow. So it should go from the side of your nose, follow through to the corner of your eye, and that is where your brow should end. And for me, so if you're struggling to find your brow shape, try this technique. Just try it with no makeup on. You can just wipe it off if it doesn't work out for you, but it's a really easy way to just kind of map out where your brow should be sitting, especially if you might have overplucked your eyebrows and they don't start till about here, which for some cases is quite common actually, because a lot of people have overplucked their eyebrows over the years. So the brow mediums I'm going to be covering in this video today include pencils, powders, and pomades or pomades, I'm not actually sure how you say it, and also brow gel. The first thing I'm going to cover is pencils. I personally don't like using brow pencils, but for the reason that I find them really hard to control. This one that I just used, this is the Goof Proof by Benefit. I have shade 3, and it's basically like an angled brow pencil, and it's quite thick. For this reason, I find it really difficult to use because it's too thick. But essentially what you want to do with a brow pencil is, it's like a feathery look. For me anyway, that's how I would get a feathery look really quickly if I didn't have like access to my powder with a brush and everything like that. So you would work in the same way. So you want to draw the line on the bottom of your eyebrow like that, and then be feathering it up at the front here. Now because this is an angle, it can be a little bit, it does make it a little bit easier to sort of create those more feathery hairs or hair-like strokes. So for me, I would be doing a pencil if I wanted to get the most natural brow possible. Depending on how steady-handed you are, then this could be a really good option. My favorite brow pencils that I have tried, well, brow pencil that I've tried is the Anastasia Beverly Hills Brow Wiz. And essentially it's like a pencil thin applicator. So it twists up the same as this. This one in particular is pretty much exactly the same as the Anastasia Beverly Hills Brow Definer. So they're like an angled, thicker pencil, whereas the Brow Wiz is like a point. And so it makes it really easy to draw in those feathery strokes. I just don't have it at the moment, otherwise I would be demonstrating with that. And it is really important to have a spoolie brush or like one of these mascara brushes, because you always need to comb through your brows to distribute the product more evenly and just kind of blend everything together. Otherwise, that's when you get those really harsh lines. Now I'm going to demonstrate on this eyebrow the next product. I'm going to be demonstrating with a pomade or a pomade. Pomade? I'm not sure. I just say pomade. Basically, it is like a thick gel-like brow product. And I used to use these all the time, like every day with my routine, and I had the most thick, dark, bold eyebrows, but I just thought that I just really liked them at the time. Like, I don't think I did it badly, I just think they were really dark, like way too dark for me. I have two shades. This is the one from Chi Chi, by the way. Amazing dupe for the Anastasia Beverly Hills. Oh my gosh, what's it called? Dip Brow. So the Brow Wiz is the pencil that I like, and the Dip Brow is the pomade. It's exactly the same thing. The soft brown color from Chi Chi is the same as soft brown from Anastasia Beverly Hills. I've had both of them at the same time. Literally could not tell a difference, and this is like a third of the price. And one of my favorite brushes is the Inglot 31T, which is just a plain old angled brush. It's really nice for brows. Now the thing with pomades, they are a little bit trickier to work with. If you're not really familiar with brows and filling them in, I wouldn't suggest moving on to a pomade straight away, just because they do take a bit of practice and time and just kind of perfecting, and they're much thicker and just harder to work with. I'm going to take my Duraline from Inglot, which is just like a cream or gel product rehydrator. It's just going to liquefy down my product a little bit more because I haven't used this for quite a while. I'm going to take that pomade, and I'm actually going to start at the arch here because I don't want to place all the product right here because it is so like gel-like, and I'm just going to draw it on basically. And this is going to fill in the brows quite a lot because it is such a highly pigmented product. What I would do next is I would get a concealer. This is the Mecca Max concealer. And I would literally carve it out with the concealer. So I'd go right up. I'm going to move on now and fill in my eyebrows with a powder, and this is the way that I like to fill them in the most because I feel like it's sort of a hybrid between this brow and this brow. I get the definition at the tail of the brow, but then the front is quite soft, and that's why I like the powders. So I use the Anastasia Beverly Hills Brow Queen, by the way. This is the Brow Powder Duo. You can see the back is completely rubbed off because I love it so much. This is in dark brown. So it has a lighter shade and a darker shade, which is really great for the brow. I feel like you need to have a lighter shade at the front and then a darker shade to fill in the tail because it gives you that nice gradient and it looks a bit more natural. Not that filling in the brows is natural. Another product I wanted to mention is the BH Cosmetics Studio Pro Brow Palette. This looks very similar to the actual Anastasia Beverly Hills Brow Palette, which essentially just has like a bunch of these in a palette. Great for makeup artists traveling if you want. That's amazing, use that. But this is very, very similar. They have 4 waxes, so this is like a primer wax that you would sort of paint over the brow to help the product stick a little bit. I don't really use anything like that. I don't think it's necessary for me. It would be if you had really fine, like fluffy hairs and you want to kind of tame them down a little bit. So then it's got 3 other wax type products. I guess you could say something similar to a pomade, but they're definitely more waxy as opposed to like a pomade. So the brush that I use is the Anastasia. I'm not sure what it is. I think it's sold out, but it's just like a little spoolie brush on the end and an angled brush. Similar to the Inglot one, but I just like this because it's quite small, so it's a lot easier to grip. So that would be my everyday eyebrow. It's pretty much a combination of the other eyebrow and the other 2 eyebrows, so the really natural and really not natural. And then I would set it with brow gel. I haven't talked about brow gels yet. My favorite one is the Anastasia brow gel. It's just a clear. It's like the perfect consistency and it dries hard, but it's not like crunchy hard and it doesn't leave white bits everywhere. But I would just do that, literally just comb through. Sometimes if the concealer's a bit wet, you might kind of disturb that, so just make sure you're a bit careful around that area. But that is what I would do for my eyebrow. The Ardell brow gel is similar. I find it doesn't dry down as much. It kind of stays a little bit wet, but it's essentially the same wand. Like very, very similar. And does the same thing, basically.